You're listening to Mark of the Maker. Hey everybody, I'm Mark Steiner and you're listening to Mark of the Maker, and this is episode 44 of the show. We actually tried to record this once, ran into some technical difficulties, and now we're going to take another swing at it. So occasionally we have these episodes that try not to happen, and this has been one of them, but we'll get it right this time. We have our usual crew of people here. Mark of the Maker is a panel discussion with a team in most cases, and I guess in all of the full episodes anyway. So we have knife maker Michael Birch with us.
Here again.
All right. We have another knife maker, Mr. Sean Kendrick.
Present and accounted for.
Lovely. And we have our last and super famous from Gentry, Arkansas, play the walk-on music, Mr. Tom Crine.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
It would have been Warrant or Whitesnake or some other hair metal band as your walk-on music.
Of course.
What would it be, man? I know you got an idea of what it would be.
Yes.
Scissor Sisters.
Wow, dude. Maybe some Whitesnake?
Whitesnake.
Go with Whitesnake.
Nice.
If I had to choose from that listed, I would go with Talk Dirty to Me by Poison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a solid choice.
And if I could have it covered by a sludge metal band and slowed down like hugely, that would be even better. Because then it goes from a party anthem to, ooh, I feel bad about myself listening to this.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
It's just part of life.
I digress. Sorry.
I would have to go with something from Rat, probably. Or just some kind of George Lynch insane riffing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'd go for either of those.
Yeah. What about you, Michael? What would be your walk-on music?
I don't know, something good.
Not that shitty shit y'all talking about.
Damn.
No.
That's rough.
Just make me feel like I'm at the state fair riding a horrible ride.
Sounds like it ought to be fucking hostile for you right now, man. Come on.
Right.
Well, I'll take a little Pantera.
Yeah.
I'd go there.
I think Birch is sad because he's sick. So if you hear Michael Birch sniffling away over there, he's got some allergies or something going on.
Yeah, it's got to be allergies. Like I said, I haven't been anywhere, so.
It's like normal Krabby Pants, maybe times 2 or 3.
Well, it's the sun's out. We got the little small pool filling up right now.
Oh, nice.
I'm in here podcasting with the air off.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to try it with the air on with this new setup. It might actually work.
Yeah. I'd have to move to the other side, but that might work. Yeah, that'd be nice because these summertime ones get awfully sweaty. I've actually already prepared my headphones with paper towel between me and the.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Personal protective barriers.
Sweaty ears.
Dude, that's pretty brutal.
That's he's been listening to a lot of C6 Steve, so he's probably working on a little tune right now called Sweaty in the Shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he knows he's got to suffer for his art.
That's right. Oh, funny stuff. All right, episode 44. So there's been a lot of water under the bridge since episode 43. We are super late getting you a new episode, and that means a lot of time has passed, and there's been a lot of weird-ass time that has passed. So I think most of us have been in some kind of quarantine condition since. I think we still are at some level. With some kind of guidelines in place and other stuff. And I think it's different in all over the place, right? I'm in Michigan, and it's been fairly tight here.
Oh, yeah. Well, before we get into that, if you listen to episode 43,
Yeah.
Sal didn't mess around. I don't know if you saw. He made a bigger
He did.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
When was that
real
episode? 2016 or something? What?
It's been a
It was
while.
a long time ago, it feels like.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, it's a great point. Sal does not mess around, right? He got right on it with the bigger bow tie, so I guess he calls that the V3 bow tie, right? That's his fixed blade, kind of upswept. I don't know. What do you think about that, Sean? Almost like a Persian-y kind of thing. It's got a nice
there's-
sweep to it.
Yeah, there's definitely a whole lot of Persian going on there.
Yeah. So he made a bigger version, and it translated very, very nicely. It's very cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some other stuff cooking too. I think he's working on some BDC and some other stuff over there. So more cool stuff coming from Sal.
Nice.
No surprise there.
No. So how is it with you guys? Like I said, we've been pretty tight for a while. If you look at the numbers, it suggests that probably was the right answer. At least we were kind of a hotspot place, and it's gotten much, much better here from a number of cases perspective and all that. There's a whole political side of that we're not going to go into, but things are kind of loosening up over time here, at least here. But I know it's different in different places. So what's going on down your way, Michael?
I don't know. We had the Lake of the Ozarks, and that pool party kind of became one of the posters for, Memorial Day, excess and, lack of social distancing sort of thing. They showed a bunch of, beaches and stuff, and then that one video and photos of the Lake of the Ozarks kept showing up. And I've made the mistake of going in and reading some of that stuff, but of course we've gotten the cases have kind of ramped up some around here. We're loosened up. I think they opened church service stuff, and a bunch of other stuff, pretty much, which I don't quite understand. Why do you open up when we're ramping up? But whatever. It's kind of the whole weirdness of all of this,
Yeah, tough decisions have to be made, right? And that
decisions I wouldn't want to make, economy versus society or safety, and it's not easy decisions.
No.
But I don't know. We're just trying to do what we can to stay safe and keep on chugging.
Right. What about down your way, Tom?
We've gotten off pretty easy so far, honestly. Just last week, we had our first COVID death in our county, Benton County, which was a 98-year-old lady. I think we're starting to spike a little bit as far as cases. I think we're up to 7,000 in the state now, which is up quite a bit recently. Yeah, this whole thing is interesting. I don't know what the answer is. It's a tough one because there's not much. It doesn't seem like there's any hard, cold facts out there to make decisions. I wouldn't want to be someone making decisions right now because of that, because you're really damned if you do and damned if you don't. And I think probably the least restrictive policies that still protect people are the way to go. I mean, the numbers I've seen, before this all started, the numbers that were coming out of China and the WHO, they were terrifying. And luckily, we haven't seen that. I don't think it's just because of what we've done. I don't know that those numbers were accurate. It'll be interesting to see if the facts ever do come out. They were saying a mortality rate that was going to be 300 to 400 times the influenza death rate, and I think we're seeing closer to 4 times instead of 300 to 400. That's just the numbers in the U.S. right now, and those are kind of numbers that we can trust for the most part. I think they may be even inflated a little bit because everybody's shut down and hospitals are hurting. They are trying to get any of that money they can. So we're still social distancing. We're still doing all that. We have gone and eaten at a couple restaurants, but one here in town, and every other table is closed, and even still, most of the restaurants in the area are still closed down. So it's interesting. I don't know what the answer is. I know that our economy is taking a brutal hit.
Very much.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We definitely do not have restaurants open here. I mean, for carry out, they've been open since the beginning, but
right.
But some of them can't make it work on that. Some can, and some are finding a way, and just trying to get through it.
Oh yeah, our restaurants have opened up, and some of them even done weird, mannequins, and you're like, don't do that.
Really?
I don't know. That's kind of cool. I mean,
it's creepy.
I'm down for that. Like at the Korova Milk Bar, hell yeah.
Makes you feel, like the restaurant's full, but it's not.
It
And
made me
nobody's
feel
going to sit there.
like I was in a testing site, a nuclear testing site or something.
Right.
And what's wrong with the ambiance of that?
Dude, those cities they built were awesome.
Ugh.
Somehow you didn't get the evacuation order.
Yeah,
Hear the
I feel
siren.
like in that crappy Indiana Jones Crystal of the Skull, when he hops in a stupid refrigerator.
Oh, man, you're
Yeah,
in the
right.
Nuketown map from
That
Call of
is
Duty.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What about down your way, Sean?
Man, okay, I'll be speaking mostly from what they're doing in Kentucky because I'm closer to Kentucky. That's where we do all our shopping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right now, you can go into the restaurants there at 33% seating capacity is the max out. So, they're seating a third of, what their restaurant's capable of. And man, it just hasn't been that bad here. 3 weeks ago, the last time I saw any numbers for our county, we had either 11 or 13 cases confirmed. And it just really hasn't hit us that hard other than, we haven't been getting out and doing anything. It's just been kind of surreal. And to be honest with you, I've just been making the most of it.
Yeah. The rural areas really didn't get it like I thought. And not to say that they still won't, but didn't get it like I thought they would, which is good,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And maybe
the
part of
cities really haven't got it like I thought they would either.
But at the same time, a lot of measures were put down to try to keep that from happening. So, we can say, oh, I told you it wasn't going to happen, yet, a lot of measures were taken. A lot of sacrifices were made to businesses and money and things like that. And then to say that,
For sure.
it just wasn't that bad is kind of, I don't know.
Well, Detroit's a city.
Yeah.
It was hit pretty hard.
Mhm.
I don't know that we've seen the cases go down as much as we have just because the virus has petered out. I don't tend to think that's the case. I think there's a significant piece of it that's the quarantine thing, but I'm not an epidemiologist or anything else. I can't make any claims. Just looking at the data, it's kind of interesting, right? And part of it probably is because we had the airport, right? Lots of folks work at the airport and go home and are exposed to stuff and then take stuff home, and
Guys, I'm not saying this wasn't bad. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. The flu every year really pretty much slams hospitals. It can shut down the ERs and stuff. Just with the regular flu, it overwhelms. So, we're talking 3 to 4 times. That's going to just swamp some hospitals, and that's what we're seeing. I think 300 to 400 times that was like shut down our country for a long time. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Even how it is now, it's bad enough. I can't imagine if it would have been what they were calling for.
right.
So,
Well, like
yeah,
you said, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
yep. Yeah.
It's-
If you don't, and it is bad, you're screwed.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of people throwing stones already on what's kind of wants to feel like the backside of this from a perception perspective, throwing lots of stones about stuff. And at the same time, it's like, what would you do, right?
Based on current information at the time, we did what we needed to do.
100%, yeah.
Well, man, I'm of the opinion if one must err on the side of caution. And if anything, that is what we did as a society.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Anyway.
All right. What about the business piece of it? So obviously, right, there's lots of small businesses that have been impacted, especially retail businesses, right? Basically guts them or puts them completely on pause, at least around here, with some exceptions, but lots and lots of impacted businesses. What about you guys? Have you seen impact to what you do as part of all of these quarantine actions and other stuff?
I don't know. I don't really have like a big, I don't sell a ton of stuff, so it's hard to get numbers from what I sell, to be able to know, oh, this is, slowing down. So I really just kind of kept busy and tried to do what I can do. I made a lot of, bottle openers and stuff like that to keep my mind busy and have something at a lower price point for people to enjoy. The knives have have been fine for now, but it's the future of this is where I think we need to be more worried about it. It's people have money at the moment, but will they 6 months to a year from now? As some of the savings and some of the stuff like that kind of really starts being impacted. So I don't know. I'm not seeing it now, but I'm trying to plan for the future of it.
Well, I think some of the stuff that you did, kind of pivoting to, like you said, doing more price point stuff and more accessible stuff and stuff that you can get out to more people. That feels like it was, I don't know, I thought it was fun and it's smart from a business perspective, right? It all kind of fits together seemed like a smart approach in this whole situation.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that you're doing something different. The fixed blades you're doing, I mean, if you can create that interest, I think it's good,
Talk about banging my head against the wall. Those fixed blades, those thin kitchen knives.
Yeah.
They want to warp.
Flat grinding sucks.
Oh, that much flat grinding. Just going so thin.
I'm just so high.
Yeah, man, that's what gets me.
There's so much contact on the that hard
it's
flat.
just ridiculous. It boggles my mind.
I've enjoyed the rotary carbide platen with that.
I can't wait to get mine set up.
Well, I can't use the jig or anything with it, but the bottom part is a good place for my palms to go across it, because one of the things I get with like flat grinding, especially when it gets that much contact, it starts doing that, it catches.
Little chatter.
Yeah, and that's always been a problem for me, but it feels like I don't really have that with this. Maybe it's because my palms are on the work rest, but that part hasn't been that bad. The part is like where my pointing finger is, my work rest or the blade rest.
Yeah, you grind them off.
Yeah, it's so thin that there's nothing, keep it from touching the belt, and I just constantly grind them off and springing leaks.
Especially on fine belts. Dude, try that super glue trick with the paper towel.
Oh, I do. I armor them up, and it's just...
It makes a difference, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've done it. I think we've all done it. I mean, didn't we all learn that trick the first time we ground off most of our finger and had to put it back on because it was showtime and we couldn't stop?
Oh, yeah.
So we have lots of guys that listen that are aspiring or newer makers that may not have had that experience. Why don't you explain what that is?
Well, you grind off a piece of your finger and then you replace it with a big old dollop of super glue and then paper towel and super glue and paper towel until you have a facsimile of a fingertip again.
A laminate.
Yeah, what I do, I mean, so if you do that, it starts oozing, and it won't stop. So I'll throw a paper towel and I'll hold it tight so it's down on there, and then I put super glue on that. And then don't use the accelerator. Seriously, don't. It gets really hot. And once it's dried, pull the excess paper towel off, and you're armored up and ready to go.
It's like instead of $6 million man, it's like $6 man kind of shit.
It's the 25-cent man.
Yeah.
63 cents.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, ain't it weird the first time you see the blood weeping out of your fingers?
Or you look at a knife and there's blood on it, and you're like, where the hell did
that come from?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Is little blood spots on stuff, and you're like, what the?
I had that with, and I know you guys are familiar, working on motorcycle stuff, where I was making stuff in the garage or grinding on stuff with like an angle grinder or whatever, Dremel or a cutoff wheel or whatever. And it's like, man, this part's slippery. Why the hell is this slippery? And it's like, oh, fuck, I'm bleeding. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get it with, making little packets for, the heat treat and stuff. You don't
stainless foil.
Oh, yeah.
Slice you, and you're just like doing your thing, and you're just drip, drip, and you're like, shit. Then you think, I should have put my gloves on.
That stuff is brutal, man.
Oh, well, I mean, you're working with a sheet of razor blade.
Right.
Ugh.
My anodizing bucket for I guess it would be the cathode side, right? The negative side in the anodizing, I use heat treat foil for that. And so I basically line the inside of this Rubbermaid tub with heat treat foil and then leave a little strip around the outside. So when I was first setting that up, I said, hey, Michael, can you send me some heat treat foil? He's like, I'll send it to you, but be super careful. You're going to fuck yourself up. It's super sharp. So yeah, I'm like Kevlar suiting up over here when I pull that shit out of the bag to lay a new layer in there.
If it wasn't so expensive, I'd wrap Christmas presents in it.
Oh,
That's just evil, man.
Oh.
Sean's like, well, yeah.
Have a red Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Everybody would be dressed like Santa.
Ugh.
inside is heat treat foil.
A package of heat treat foil wrapped in heat treat foil. I like that.
I do too. There's some Inception shit going on there.
What about you, Tom? What about business impact, all this crazy shit that's been going on?
You know, at first it slowed down quite a bit. I definitely saw sales drop. Afterwards, I think people have gotten used to it. I think there was quite a bit of fear, and our sales have started picking up. We're still down some, but I think that's normal with what's going on. And plus, we've had some personnel changes here in the shop, so that's affected it too, I'm sure, as far as what we can get done. But definitely our sales are down a little. We've tried to switch it up. We've tried to fill in some of the shortages with merch. We've done some hats. Which is nice. We've been trying to do some of this stuff and finally got some of it done. We've done a few challenge coins, which seem to be doing good. And we're changing what we're doing a little bit. Like this week, I switched up to something totally different. We've been doing some hidden tank stuff.
Those were cool. Those looked really good.
Thanks. Just old school, stuff that I used to do. It's kind of crazy. The first blade show I did, I took a whole table of knives like this. I say a whole table. I probably had a dozen. And I had the prototype TK8 there, which is what all my current knives are kind of based off of that model.
Right.
I didn't sell a single hidden tang, and everybody wanted to buy the TK8 prototype. So I didn't sell a single knife my first blade show. It was kind of crazy.
It wasn't nostalgic yet. It was new.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Well, even then, there wasn't a lot of people doing it the way I was doing it. Very much the Morseth way.
Yeah. But you were...
That's where I learned.
You were wanting to sell stick tangs in the eve of tactical knives.
Yep.
And now
we're not tactical at all.
Yeah, but now it's all, a lot of people love this nostalgic stuff. I do, all of us do, as we've talked about on this show.
Oh, yeah.
But I think a lot of customers are really getting into it too. And it's been fun to see.
Well, they're just a nice working knife, I think. A hidden tang knife is, the balance is a little different. I really like them. You can use different materials, like the round stag or leather washers. And
it's different. It allows you to have a very personal type of knife because you can change a few things and still have a different knife, that no one else has. Even
right.
Stag, this is all me. No one else has one like it.
Well, even the
ones.
spacer stack. I mean, if you do all red or all black, it's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been fun. I'll be honest, on these first knives, I think I probably lost money, just because of all the tools I had to remake and trial and error, trying to remember stuff. What?
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it was fun though, and now I've got the tools made, and I've relearned how to do it in a relatively fast manner. These are definitely slower.
You can customize those for customers in a way that, like, if they got 3 kids, you can do 3, different spacers that, there's ways to make those very personal to your customers, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I got 2 kids, Tom.
Sounds good.
And their favorite colors are...
Birthstone colors are?
Yeah, exactly.
They are not Pack-A-Wood.
Oh, but I'm sure Pack-A-Wood has the color combo you're looking for, cousin.
Yeah.
I guarantee I could make a Pack-A-Wood handle that you would like.
I got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw those pictures. I'm like, wow. I sent a text to Birch. I'm like, man, did you see those really nice Randalls that Tom made?
I did it.
Son of
He did a good job on those Randalls.
Rear. It was funny.
I've had worse comparisons.
Yeah. Hey, if that's
Right?
if that's the knock away, right?
Yep. Swing.
No, they're very cool looking, man. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say that they're hand rub. I'm not positive, but
Nope.
oh,
Nope.
are they tumbled or something?
No, it's just my satin finish.
Really? He just doctored the picture so they look like they were hand rubbed.
Mm-hmm. Probably got a
Trout.
Photoshop guy.
No, I don't want anybody to want hand rub. I'm not going to doctor anything.
I don't know, man. Hand rubbing those AEBL blades, kitchen knives, was real fun.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, like a toothache.
That sucked. That was dumb.
I think Michael,
They look great.
they did.
Thanks.
They came out really, really nice.
Yeah, all around.
Those are fun to play with.
I think Birch's hourly rate on those came out to about 75 cents an hour.
25-cent, man.
I feel your pain.
They're good looking though, and that's that part of the Michael Birch cleanse my soul process, right?
Pretty much. But yeah, I've got a few of these to get through in different versions of how they're made, and it's fun. I'm still making folders though. Got some to heat treat and all that stuff, but this is just sort of a have fun with some moans and different steels and shapes, and I don't know, the thin edge. It's almost like how thin can you go?
Right.
Sort of a game. It's kind of fun.
So do you end up with a funky thing when you get that thin down at the edge where there's all that flex going on?
Yeah.
It seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
you have to back the blade when you have it on the platen, don't you? Or is that not an actual thing where once the blade goes off the edge of the belt?
No, it gets real funky. You have to. Your thumb. Your fingers under it, and your thumb is touching that up there, and you're sliding it down. You have to start going real light, and across there.
And when you're looking down, it kind of looks like a snake going around your platen.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But man, that AEBL is really funky stuff. Like seeing it just flex, like I can draw it across my thumb, and you'll just see that little flex spot.
Well, it's super tough. I mean, it's
Yeah, but it
I
doesn't-
think it's the best steel for that.
But it goes right back to where it was. You
Yep.
can do that with some
Yeah.
steels, and you'll see, it deforming or stained. I had a couple of those that warped, and I would bend them so far trying to see what would happen with it, and they just took and the spring in them is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Well,
And that's how you can get that edge to be thin and still go back to it. It'll just slice right around stuff. And it was, I don't know, I was doing a lot of checking on the edge of stuff, and I had it like, what was it? It was an 1/8 inch up, or maybe more. It was 10/1000ths, an 1/8 inch away from the edge,
Wow.
or a little higher than that actually. It's like, but it's just a little. You got years and years of cutting with that.
dude,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to start a regrind school.
I don't. It's
You start doing it. Hang your shingle.
Time that went into that shit is a lot. Like I said, I had to go slow and low on that. So yeah, don't expect a full line of those coming out anytime soon.
That's like when I do the straight razors, man. It's kind of crazy. I take those to 4,000s, and it's just like, it's so crazy grinding them. It's like, I mean, that's thin.
Yeah, 2.
It's 1,000th more than a sheet of printer paper.
Yeah.
put
I
it
got
in
it to
perspective.
2, bro.
What's that?
2.
You went down to 2,000s?
2. Yeah, it's you don't really see it.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, weird stuff.
Yeah, it does. It takes nothing to sharpen that.
Well, then I took that.
Rub
I
it on
made-
a cardboard box.
Yeah, I did that chopper, that kind of fighter chopper in 3V, and it's 10,000. It looks like a 1/4 inch thick to me now.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, this is so thick.
Right.
It's a club.
Mm-hmm. On that 3V, that's some bull. Talking about for flat grinding, that's some bullshit right there.
Yeah.
I wasted a lot of belts.
What grit did you take it to?
I took it to 220 for now.
Yeah.
But then the 400 just slid across it, so I didn't know. I'm like, what do I do with this?
What belts are you using?
The Hermes, but I might have to
yeah.
try Klingspor.
Hang on, let me do a little Google searching here. I'll hook you up with something. Okay. Red Label abrasives.
I'll check that out.
Have you used them at all? Okay, they've got ceramic up to 400, I think.
Oh, that'd be nice. Well, it might have a 200, 220 grit finish.
Yeah, they've got ceramic to 400. They've got 320 and 400, and they're good belts. They're a flexible back. I've been using these. I've got the 240, the 320, and the 400s in the shop. You can order direct, and they're pretty reasonable. Honestly, they're competitively priced to the Klingspor non-ceramic.
Huh.
So
yeah, it's it may just have to be sort of a user, big old user.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, in the future, if you want, this is a good alternative to the non-ceramic belts
usual.
when you're grinding blades.
Yeah.
Red Label abrasives.
Bullshit 3V.
I like 3V, but yeah, it's fun. I don't like flat grinding it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That it was a tall grind, and it just felt like I just glazed it.
Yeah, the non-ceramic belts dead instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
and
if
the
it's
ceramic ones,
hard.
They don't last very long either.
No.
What about you, Sean? Is this quarantine pandemic stuff? Has it had an impact on what you got going on as far as knife making goes?
Man, nah, but that don't really mean anything. You know, my air quotes business model is non-traditional at best, so I'm not the dude to take any kind of a reference mark from on that. So
Right. It seems like I don't know. I mean, before you and Rachel were doing the school thing, I don't know how much out and about town kind of folks you tended to be. My guess would be not that much, but maybe more so by far with the school thing going on. And so it's impacted the school deal. Obviously, you're doing all the stuff remotely.
Yeah, hugely. I was able to finish my math class online. I got it out of the way. But our actual machining classes just stopped dead in the water. And let's see, we have a 10-day window to come back in August before the new semester starts to try and cram all the learning we can into those 10 days and finish out the course, because the machining course stands as an in-progress grade right now. And we've got to go in and do what we can do and then finish that up, which, to be honest with you, I'm not too worried about it. Even if we aren't able to get the maximum amount of time in on the makeup, we're just going to be going into machining classes the week after that, and our teacher's pretty good. We'll get caught up one way or the other, and I'm actually willing to defer a little time so the folks who are supposed to be graduating can definitely get their projects done. And we'll just see how it shakes out. I don't think it'll be anything problematic.
Yeah.
And thankfully for that.
Well, officially, congrats on kicking ass in the math class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I put in the work. I ended up with a 95.2.
Ooh.
Damn.
And a big thanks to Abby Birch, for helping me to maintain that A. There was a part of the geometry portion of the class that I just had a hard time grasping, and she was a huge help on that. So thank you, Abby.
I will let her know, because she probably won't listen.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing she doesn't listen.
No, nobody listens to this show.
Right?
She started out, then she's like, well...
Yes, Sean sent me his math grade. He got 3 gold stars on the fridge at my house.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Winner.
I feel so validated.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting. I think I fall into the same category as most knife makers, especially you guys. It's like, I don't really go anywhere or do much anyways, but when I can't, then it's like, you start missing it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blade Show especially, I'm going to miss everyone. I think we may go in August. I don't know. It depends on what it looks like. But yeah.
I don't know. I feel a little, I guess you can call it quarantine fatigue or whatever. And it's not,
Yeah.
yes, I'm used to being at home a lot. And yes, I'm kind of that sort of personality, I guess. But
Right.
I am worn out of, trying to think of ways to do things safer and the uncertainty. That's the part that gets me. Uncertainty with school, with the kids,
Right.
that was hellish. Abby took a ton of that on, the school for the kids. And, the summer, what to do with that. And then, what are they going to do when it kicks back on? Because hell, it's almost June. Tomorrow's June, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be trying to figure. I mean, they're already trying to work out what we're going to do. And the uncertainty of it is what is almost like a fatigue to me, because I'm always trying to figure out what is going to be happening and try to prepare for something that you have no idea what it's going to be. It's tough.
Yeah, wears on you.
Dude,
Constant.
we would be leaving for Blade Show Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's kind of sad. That show wears me. I didn't miss having to, be so revved up right now. I kind of like that didn't happen. I've been able to do kind of what I want to do as the summer rolls in, but I'm going to miss seeing everybody. I'm going to miss, seeing knives and people and having beers with friends and all that stuff. So yeah, it does. It wears you down a lot, and that part's been hard.
So, Tom, you're still planning to go at this point? You have your booth still or whatever?
Yeah, I think so, man. I wasn't initially, but honestly, the numbers I've been seeing, I think we're going to go. I haven't missed one in almost 30 years, and I don't know what we'll be taking, or I don't know if I'll take my booth or just rent a table and kind of keep it mellow and low key. I don't know how many people are actually going to be there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Most of my friends aren't going, as far as like knife maker friends that I've talked to.
Right.
So it may be just like 4 of us sitting in the room, but I won't have missed it. So
I wonder what they're going to do. It seems like they, I don't know. I guess it's still a little ways off. Still 3 months away, right? Oh, not 3 months, 2.5 maybe, or 2. But I wonder how they're going to do all that with limiting the number of people in the room and all that kind of stuff.
Man,
that'll be interesting to hear.
Yeah, it's going to be weird for sure.
You can be our frontline reporter.
Oh yeah, man on the scene.
Go for it, Geraldo.
None of you guys are planning on going, right?
I'm not.
I'm still a little undecided. I doubt it, but Shade is, he wants to go, period. And he's leaning on us hard. And to be honest with you, I was considering it much more seriously before we got the reschedule on our class. And it falls on the same week one of the same weeks that Blade Show is. So,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. We're just going to have to kind of play it by ear. But given the opportunity, Shade says we're fucking rolling.
Shade's going to hazmat suit up and dive in.
Well, honestly, if you guys don't want to go and Shade wants to go, you can probably get a flight down there super cheap right now.
No, probably.
Well, I'm just saying,
I don't know. I heard that all kind of changed directions. Stuff got really cheap for a little while, and then boom, flights are back to being super expensive because they restructured and other stuff. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked. When I looked, it was a few weeks ago. So
Well, I know that they haven't adjusted any of the hotel pricing. I was looking at booking, and I was just like, wow, really, guys?
Yeah.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Well, I've been kind of unhappy with the hotel pricing since they put the stadium in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tom, have you considered the temperature of Atlanta in August? Because all I can think of is like waiting outside at Papa Do's.
Ugh.
and just being like, and just sweating.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we wouldn't have to leave the venue, but I don't know. We sat outside and at Fox Brothers a few times, so I don't know.
In August.
Tom's like, the only time I got to leave is to run to Arby's. My rental car or my car I drive over have air conditioning. I didn't know a thing.
I'm not doing that again. Nobody was really happy about that except for me.
I was happy.
I was.
I completely forgot until you handed me Arby's. I'm like, damn, I forgot about this.
I couldn't even give them away. I had a whole bunch that, like,
Gee whiz.
I figured it would be a great idea, but
I still don't know how they stay in business.
Arby's?
Arby's and Hardee's. I'm like, who?
Hardee's sucks, but Arby's, I totally understand making that good of a sandwich for that cheap of a price.
Now, man, I'll disagree with you. Our Hardee's over in Maysville's awesome, and they got one of the better fast food breakfasts you can grab.
I was going to say, I think Hardee's these days is kind of known on the breakfast side of their game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't checked breakfast, but we used to eat there. We had one in Siloam when I worked at the hospital. We'd get burgers and stuff. Dude, I don't know how many chicken sandwiches I got that were not cooked.
Maybe it's your restaurant, because, man, I'd just about fight a motherfucker for a Frisco burger from Hardee's. I dig those.
Yeah, that
See,
may be
those
the case.
Those used to be good. And Hardee's used to be like, that was your stayed out too late drinking food. But when you kind of slowed that thing down and didn't, do that stuff anymore, you just don't eat it. I just don't see anybody there. But maybe
And eating Hardee's all fucked up. I remember in college going to Hardee's because you could get a 3-piece chicken dinner for like $4.
that monster burger, remember that
Rolling
thing?
in there at 2 a.m, just like, fried chicken.
You see that monster burger sober and you're like, ugh.
Right.
Ugh.
Beer goggles help, man.
What the fuck did I eat?
man.
Yeah, we have an Arby's nearby that is in a very weird spot. I can't imagine how it has survived like it has. It's been there for many years. I've never seen it busy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was busier when it first opened, right? Because it was new. But anymore, I guess I don't go by there a ton. But whenever I do go by there, it's like there's like one car in the parking lot. There's nobody in the drive-through. It's like, man, how do they even keep that place open?
Right?
Front for dope money.
Sometimes I wonder about that because there's like a Russell or Russell Stovers.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no one there. Never seen anyone there. How are they still there?
Online
Good.
sales.
Yeah, maybe they do online sales.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they front for dope money.
Yeah. Well, that some of that kind of is weird to me. Hearing some of these businesses that had to either furlough a lot or close a ton of stores was interesting to me. Like Victoria's Secret, they had to shut down, I don't know how many stores. And Abby and I were talking about that. And I'm like, but I mean, at the same time, we don't know what their numbers are. It seems odd because it's a huge company, but I'm like, they've also got a store in every single mall across America. And that's a ton of rent and a ton of whatever. That probably is a pretty fine line that they're running.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting what stores kind of took a hit and which ones haven't.
Clearly, they are not a front for dope money.
I don't think they are.
It's something they should consider.
When we drove through town yesterday, I saw the movie theater and I was like, man, how are these places going to come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
we've
think
seen the entertainment industry changed forever.
Yep.
I don't think there's a whole lot of margin there to start with. And they've been down for 2 months.
Right.
Yeah. That's got to be rough. And once again, we've talked about, the box office money and stuff like that. How these movies that a lot of them have moved to, they either moved back, like the big budget ones, a lot of them have moved their time back, but a lot of them have went to where you can buy it for $20.
Yep. Yeah.
And then it goes to rent for $19 for, then it's, rent for $6. But, but we've also seen like drive-thrus have become popular. There's a few of them that have ramped back up around here. And, I listened to a bunch of podcasts, but right now I'm on like comedians type of stuff. Two Bears, One Cave. It's like Tom Segura and, Bert Kreischer. You know what I'm talking about?
That just sounds dirty, man.
Well, it was a dirty name that they came up with like 12 years ago. They were talking about Two Bears, but they don't, that's their money is going to venues and stuff and doing their stand up and all this stuff. But the Burt guy was talking about he's going to start doing a tour of drive-thrus, and it's those types of, it's like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's forward thinking. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but those are the type of things that are going to keep those guys doing what they're doing, is thinking outside the box and doing these different types of things.
For sure.
You can't just sit back and hope it, happens. You got to try to maneuver and adjust and adapt. So there wasn't a real point to that.
Well, it's relevant to every industry, right? And it kind of fits back with what we were talking about what are you guys doing, or has this stuff impacted you? And I think you can attempt to minimize that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make hay anyway if you get a little bit creative, and sometimes it comes out of necessity, right? Like, hey, I have to change the way I do business because it's required. And in some cases, there's just opportunity there that people can only find if they sort of step back a little bit and, like you said, think outside the box on what's going on.
Yep.
It's funny, Sean, businesses front drug money. I thought we started watching Ozark, and so it's made for a bunch of really funny exchanges between Amy and I. Like, I call her Darlene, and she looked at me very suspicious.
How
Darlene, I brought her a beer the other night, and she's like giving me this suspicious look, like I'm trying to poison her or something.
What season are you on?
We just started season 3 last night.
How are you enjoying Ruth? could be my favorite of that one. I don't know shit about fuck.
Right.
It's
She is quite a character.
how long does it take to get into that? Because I watched the first one and I was like,
I'd say a few.
Yeah.
By the time we were 2 or 3 in, I think we were in on it. It's definitely so I read a description from somebody that said, I can't stop watching it, but it makes me feel like I need to take a shower.
Yeah.
Which is a great description.
But I mean, I'm a big Jason Bateman fan, though. It just, the stuff he directs, the stuff he writes, the stuff he's in, it's hard to not like him acting, because he can still look like he's being a smartass and still play a very serious role.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He does a great job with that character on that show. Didn't he produce that show, or wasn't he a big piece of putting it together?
Yeah. I know he did like The Outsider, which was the HBO one, the Stephen King adaptation.
Okay.
He directed a bunch of those too, and just he gets his finger in a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, it's worth watching, Tom. If you can get a few in, I think
all right,
you might get there.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
All right, what about, so we talked about shows. Oh, one of the things that happened is TKI changed hands.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a shocker.
That was a surprise.
It'll be interesting. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't have any insider information. I'm not saying you guys, but a lot of people seem to have known about it. But I've always liked Steve doing it, so I don't know. It'll be something new.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. And then, with this year kind of being blown out with shows, I don't know where stuff's going to go and how it's going to happen. I've kind of resigned myself to just kind of not doing a show this year because I just don't know.
Did I hear there may be more than one TKI, like different venues?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I heard something like that too.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So what's Steve have left for shows? New York?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just New York?
Maybe.
Interesting.
He may have a couple other in his bag somewhere.
Yeah. I think the Florida thing would be interesting to see him find a way to bring that back and fit it in somewhere, because maybe it's because of the time of year, I guess, but for us it was a really nice time of year to get gone. That show was very small and didn't have a massive attendance, but if he could make that work, that might be cool.
Yeah, it was a tough one for me. I never was able to go because with young kids, they're in school at that time, so it was just never worked.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I went to Florida without my wife, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
being married is a good thing.
Yeah, we've talked about how we can get down to Florida without just drive down there, find a good little rental home and just close to the beach where we don't have to talk to anybody, see anybody, but just relax, get the hell off the news and the social media and all the bullshit.
I'm telling you, man, watching the news is not your friend. It's not mine, and I stopped.
Been doing it
does
every
not
day
help.
for a while now, which is new for me, and it is a definite hit on the mental health.
It's a shit show.
It's a total shit show.
Well, I'll be down there Wednesday, and I won't be watching any news, so I'll think of you.
Thanks, bro.
I'll let you know how it goes so you can do it.
Yeah.
We were actually scheduled to go right before all this started, like the next week, and everything got canceled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife has been, well, she's working in the hospital, and it's, if you think everything else is a shit show, what's going on in the hospitals right now is insane. Not even with the COVID, just with like reusing masks and all this kind of stuff. It's just total craziness.
Oh, yeah.
And so she's like, we got to get out of here. She needs a break. And as soon as they opened up Florida to out of state, she made a reservation. And so we're headed down Wednesday. We'll be taking some extra food, and we won't be, usually we eat out at night, but we probably won't be doing that. If we do it, we'll be doing, takeout. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel the beach is a good place to social distance. So
Yeah, you can be a long ways away from anybody.
yeah,
And it's just, and there's a lot of open air type of places to eat usually,
yeah,
which to me is, I think makes a difference to me a little bit.
yeah. Sit outside.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole rental house thing, man, we started doing that years ago when the kids were younger, and we do that to this day. Just Amy and I would 10 times prefer to rent a place, whether it's a condo or a house or something, over staying in a hotel. That's become our go-to for vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't, the hotel stuff, I'd rather have to VBRO or VRBO and the other one, whatever it is.
Airbnb. The only problem is, and you can VRBO some of the condos, they're usually not like walk out on the beach where we go. So we usually stay in a condo, and similar thing, we get a 2 or 3 bedroom, and then all the kids can come. It works good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice. It's just so much more low-key.
Well, that way you don't have to go to the beach. You're there. If somebody wants to wake up and go down to the beach, they can. If you want to sleep in, you can. It's really nice that way.
Right.
Yeah, that's how we have to roll too, because I get up and I'm ready to, and the kids too.
Yeah.
They'll snack on something fast. It's time to go. I'm not wasting time in bed while I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
It's go time.
Time for relaxation.
Usually not. I'm usually so worn out when we go do something like that. But it's fun too. It's constant playing either in the pool or whatever. I'm throwing kids and swimming, and I don't know. It's a lot, but I miss it.
I'll let you know how it goes.
I appreciate that.
If Tom starts throwing kids, we're going to see it on the news.
Yeah,
right.
Your kids are. You can only throw your own kids. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I can't throw mine. I'll just say that. It was just a little aside, pretty funny. Everybody knows Ben, or most people do. He works in the shop with me, and most everybody knows my kids. If you go to Blade, they're there. Zach has really changed over the last year. He's been working out for 2 years, but he's over 6 feet now, and he's pretty ripped. And Ben's pretty stocky, but 5'10", 5'11". He's always been able to pick on Zach a little bit. The other day, Zach picked him up and shook him and put him down, and Ben's eyes were like saucers. He's like, "What happened?"
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
pretty
awesome.
funny.
I just
It's called
like
a paradigm shift.
Yes.
That's what just
Yep.
happened.
Everything just changed.
Yep,
we got a new alpha.
it's exactly right.
Pretty
You
funny.
better keep an eye on him, Tom.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing your like work in progress and just like you got a bunch of knives and Ben just has a stack of his worry stones on top of your knives. Like, well, how about you move your knives out of my way?
Yeah, dude, for real. I come in a lot of times and it's like he's got work here and work there, and Zach comes to the shop and he likes to tinker with knives, and he'll have my folder bench. He'll have all my folders pushed out of the way and have all of his stuff taken apart. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is getting ridiculous.
This is my clubhouse.
Yeah. You guys need to buy your own grinders.
Right. What about new knives? I know Tom said he got a new knife. It was a secret
Yeah.
new knife.
Well, yeah. So last time we recorded this, I had a couple new knives, which were pretty cool. I got a couple Chris Reeves hollow handled survival knives, the original fixed blades. Really cool. I got an Aviator and a Project One. The Project One has seen a little use, so I can use it and not feel bad about it. I'll probably use all of them, but such cool knives. I really dig the old Chris Reeves hollow handled single 2 pieces of steel fixed blades. And while we were doing that podcast, Bert, I mentioned I wanted one of the Skinners, and Birch found one, and it's here now.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 3.
nice.
Dick.
I thought you were like looking out for me, man. You weren't?
Well, I didn't think you'd actually buy it. I was like, hey, check it out. It's cheaper. No
Yeah,
hesitation, though.
Well, and it was cheaper because it had a scratch, but I don't think it's a scratch. I think it's like, you know how you get coatings and like something softer will rub on it,
Yep.
and it like takes up like the like aluminum or whatever. I think that's actually what it is. So
Yeah.
really cool piece. I got another piece this last week, which is exciting. So yeah, I got way too many nice knives. I won't get any for a while, apparently. But one of the Randalls that I had ordered came out. So I try to order one every three to 4 months. It doesn't always happen because I forget, because that's as often as you can order, I think, is every 3 months. But I got a really cool Model 15. If you're not familiar, it's the small brother to the 14 Attack.
Nice.
And on this one, I decided to totally option it out. So you can only put 5 options on a Randall. And I did that. So it's got a nickel silver hilt. It's got the cut down tang. It's got stag. It's got finger grooves. And it's got the compass. So it's
Wow.
pretty cool piece.
So it's got stag and the compass.
Yeah, so they just put it in the butt of they inlay it back in the back of the stag. It's really cool.
Check that out. I had no idea that they did that.
Yeah. I think I've got it on a bird and trout too. Randall bird and trout.
Very cool.
So
this Chris Reeve Aviator and the other they're integral, right? So the handle and the blade is all one piece of material, and then there's just the cap on the end is the only other part, right?
yeah, and they're super inspirational. I'll be honest, it's making me want to get a CNC, a Haas CNC lathe. Not to trace or copy, but do something similar.
I feel
Well, I mean,
The tracing and copying.
Yeah.
no, Sean, not similar to tracing and copying. Oh, jeez. We had this conversation last time.
Yeah.
he's going to call it the Crine airplane driver.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a really neat method of building a knife, and no one's doing it now. It's probably not the most efficient use of steel. I'm sure there's a lot of waste.
So,
Heck yeah.
but A2,
Yeah, and it makes something that's super cool. I mean,
I assume you'll probably do exactly what they do, right? Since it's, trace-ish.
what? Damn it.
You'll
I need
be
to
fine.
I need to talk to Tim Reeves.
Yeah. Because if you don't, we're going to call you Dick Tracy.
Wow. Can't we just go off my past track record?
No, I mentioned this last time, but yeah, I had two of those: the Aviator and the hurts me
Dagger.
again. The Dagger, the 4-inch Dagger.
I haven't even been able to find one of those.
They are about $3,500 anymore. And I think I sold mine for $400, probably to buy a grinder. You know, I don't sell stuff very often, but when I do, it was to.
Dude,
buy,
I sold so much stuff to buy tools.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff I can't get back. It makes me sad.
No, I'm not getting that Dagger back.
Nope.
I'm like a vulture just swirling around in the sky waiting for Birch to need a tool so I can get that Loxa.
Well, let's do this. If anybody has a Chris Reeves Dagger and wants to hook somebody up at a good price, give me a shout.
Oh.
Because that will make Birch feel even worse. So, yeah.
He'll get extra sad.
Just kidding.
Damn.
You can get a hold of me. I'm not a tracer.
What? Hey, I think you've self-admitted to doing it at least once.
Yeah.
You didn't sell the knife on accident, remember?
Didn't sell the knife. What are you talking?
Some dude asked you to make a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Who's the tracer now?
Oh, boy.
True.
Just kidding, man.
That was
a bad situation. But yeah.
I can't believe Sean missed an opportunity to chime in and express his endorsement of anything that smells like a hate purchase.
Well, I mean, I figured it was just assumed. I think you guys know that I'm smiling like, yes, make him pity himself.
his beard grew like an extra inch.
Exactly. Whoop.
Oh, damn.
Too funny. Well, I got a couple too. I got one of Pete Carey's mini nitro folders.
Oh.
Cool little guy. Little flat handles, super slim.
Did you get it from Pete?
No.
Okay.
Pete brought it in 2012. So 8 years ago, Pete brought it down to Chad Nichols' place to a get-together that Chad had down there. I was there, Horton was there, and some other people, a whole bunch of people. And Pete brought two knives. I got one of them, and Horton got the other one. And this is the one that Horton got. And then Jeremy sold it or traded it or whatever to a mutual friend of ours, and he's had it ever since. And that gentleman put it up for sale recently, and I decided
nice.
I'd like to have it. So
you did a clean sweep. You got both of them.
Yeah, except I sold the other one. I wish I had them both. That'd be really fun.
See, we all make bad decisions.
We do. This one's Stellite. So it's a Stellite mini nitro, which is really cool.
That's such cool steel.
Yeah. And
someone's going to get you on that.
Oh, steel.
It's such a cool alloy.
There you go. But it's kind of fun because I have another Carey in Stellite that is a cornerstone that Pete made for me for my little Westinghouse collection. So I think I only have two Careys now. Maybe there's a third one. I'm trying to remember. I think I have one of the little fixed blades that he and Kyle did, but yeah. So a couple of Carey Stellite.
Super cool.
Yeah.
It's good seeing him at TKI.
Very, very good. He was looking good. He's feeling good. It was good all around.
I'm just going to go on the record. Had I known TKI was the last show I would ever do, I probably would have stayed at least the night.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I would have stayed somewhere other than on a couch in the hotel lobby.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have done a drive-by.
It was adorable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, drive-by. That's a good way to put it.
I'd like to say I would have Nashvilled even more, but I think I Nashvilled pretty hard.
Yeah.
I know Abby did. That's for sure.
Yes. Yep. And then I got another folder from Mr. Michael Birch. Well, I didn't actually get it from Michael Birch. I kind of did, I guess. So one of his Bosun with the hex vents. Real cool piece.
Dude, I love those.
That
yeah, they're nice.
A friend got in his lottery and came my way kind of through a cool series of circumstances. So it's got a little good karma around it, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And super cool piece. So
wow.
Michael's all tricky. Got some Zerk inlay in the pivot and a Zerk collar and a Zerk backspacer. And it's kind of the monochrome, kind of the super monochrome package. Very
I
solid.
like that look. Black
I
and
do
white.
too.
Yeah.
It's just clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nice. And then just this week, I didn't have this when we previously attempted to record this episode. A friend of mine that I know through Watch Stuff named Matthew, I know him through the through that Red Bar watch thing that we have a local group here in the Detroit area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
And so I had brought some knives to Red Bar just to kind of show people, hey, this is what some custom knives look like. Some of the guys are interested. So I brought some knives to a couple different get-togethers. He got very interested in knives in general, and so he bought some knives. And then he said, man, the custom knives that you bring to these things are super, super cool. It'd be really cool to have a custom knife from somebody in Michigan. Is there anybody in Michigan that makes knives? I'm like, yeah, man, there's a bunch of people in Michigan that make knives. And so I ended up sending him Phil Booth's way. And so he ended up ordering from Phil a little, this is part of his Minnow series, but I think this is a bigger one in that same series of knives. But it's a scale release auto. One of Phil's little teeny tiny scale release autos.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool piece. It's got a fine hand rub blade, Tom.
All right.
Copper.
Props to Phil.
Yeah, he did a really nice job on it. It's very clean, very cool, lots of little details. And man, they're just cool little knives. I think this is one of those pieces that anytime you show it to someone and they play around, they're like, damn, that's cool, just because it's so small and it's auto, all packed in this little teeny tiny package. So
Now, how did you end up with it?
well, because Matt he's been unemployed during this time, and he's working out of state, and they need to go to the new state he's working in down in Tennessee. And he's like, man, I probably should sell this. And
There you go.
I thought, well, I sent him Phil's way. I should probably buy it from him. So I did.
Yeah, twist my arm.
Yeah, right. So it all worked out for everybody, which was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You said you had another one that you'd got in, and you'd literally sent me a photo of that yesterday, and I was still like, what did he get in?
It's a cool little guy. I don't know. This might be some of the material you guys were talking about. The handle piece, it actually is bolstered, believe it or not, little tiny like 1 3/4 inch blade or whatever. It's got a bolster that looks like bronze tie, although it could be copper. I guess I'm not sure. And then it has carbon fiber scales, but kind of like with copper in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's some of this unique Micarta stuff or something else.
Who knows?
I was looking at it, man. It looked like some fat carbon, maybe.
Fat carbon. There you
Yeah.
go. Maybe so.
Yeah.
There's so much of that going on now. I don't know who makes what anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, anyway, fun piece. What about you, Michael or Sean? You guys get any new knives since we talked last?
No new knives for me, but I've been putting together some materials. I've picked up a nice little selection of Micarta from GL Hansen, and
Yeah.
I got some new fat carbon in, and let's see, I got some new. I got a 1095 Sanmai laminate, and then a laminate of 1095 with then nickel and copper, and then a 1095 core.
Yeah.
And that's from Dion Damascus.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to give that guy a shout out because we did that last time.
Yeah. Well, man, I actually got my bars in, and
It looks
given
amazing.
the price on it, I was like, I'm going to take this 1095 and just grind into it. I'm going to see where my core is, see what's going on inside this motherfucker. And man, it ain't that bad to get it close to perfectly centered. I think I'm going to have to kind of shim it up on the surface grinder and knock 10 thou off one side and then flip it and even it out. But all in all, that ain't that bad. It's pretty close to centered. It would be more centered, but it's in at kind of an angle. It's a minor angle, but it's enough to throw you off on your thickness from side to side, you know?
Right.
So I got to do a little bit of work to get it proper, but not that bad. And I'm not concerned about it that much considering what they charge for the 1095 and copper layup. It is crazy affordable.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what are you going to make with it?
Let's see. I don't, man, maybe something leaf bladed.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it would, given how the grinds flow on one of those, I think I would be able to, bring out a decent bit of copper on the swedge and the primary grind and bring that together. And I think that would look real good.
Yeah.
No. A leaf bladed dagger. Yeah.
Oh. God damn. That way the core could show off just how shitty I am at grinding on both sides. Awesome.
Oh, that would be
no,
awesome.
that would be badass, man. I mean, yeah, it would look killer.
Yeah, do that.
When you started saying that, I was like, oh, I started seeing it. Yeah.
I agree. If you could get that copper to walk all the way around into the swedge, that'd be really, really, really pretty.
I should be able to, given how it's in there. It should come out.
Yeah. So how did you find that stuff, Sean? Was that through Dave Brown, seeing him
Dave Brown,
work with
man, he has put up some stunning examples of it. And I was like, yeah, I got to get me some of that.
He really has. And he's put up some pretty big pieces with it, hasn't he?
Yeah. There was a Katana and Wakizashi, I believe he did in the Sanmai stuff. Well, see, they have a 1095 cord Sanmai that has, the cladding on the outside is 1095 and 420.
Ah, okay.
And then with the copper and nickel under that clad jacket, and then your 1095 core.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks stunning. Just stellar. Which,
So
shout
here's-
out to Dave, the little blue Tonto he finished up recent. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Super cool.
Man, that is just so gorgeous.
The stuff you got is 1095 on the outside or Damascus?
I got both.
Yes. Really looks good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I figure on the 1095 clad stuff, with the 1095 jacket, I probably just, grind it, etch it black, and then I don't know if I'm going to tumble it or not. I just want it to be dark, and I want that copper to pop like a mad motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm gonna get some.
I think it's that was the thing that got my attention when you sent me that picture of it. The first time I saw that Dion Damascus stuff was that it was on a big piece. And if you think about how the position of that core to keep it in the spot that it needs to be to make it work on a great big piece, right? Like a sword. That's pretty serious, right? It's the fact that it's in the right spot all the way down seems like a big deal.
Now, man, the consistency of travel all the way down, it's just about as straight as a poker. It's just that the laminate's in there at a little bit of an angle. Like I said, it's, I got to take off a 10 thousandths difference from each side. So it's about a 20 thousandths total overall.
Right.
Sean, did you find that it was slightly oversized or right on?
It was a little oversized, but not what we're used to calling oversized stock.
So like enough to
Like
clean up
3/16
after
is
heat
pretty
treat?
damn close to 3/16. It's maybe 7 to 8 thousandths over.
Okay.
And that's what I ordered was 3/16 because the 532nd, it would become, I actually contacted him about thicknesses and oversizing and whatnot. And he said that their 532nd usually is going to mic at like 150 to 160.
Yeah.
So, I figure I'm going to have to grind off decarb after and all this shit. So I went with the 3/16. So I had, extra material for removal and cleanup and all that stuff.
Damn, it's cool.
Dave did a really cool dagger too that I'm sure you saw, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
It's a dagger, but it's made Japanese style, right? So it's almost like a funky hybrid of like a gladius and a Japanese sword almost. You know what I mean? I don't know how else
it's
to
a
describe
funky
it.
ethnic mashup that works.
It really, really works. I'm like, whoa, that is badass. 10-inch blade, 16.5 overall, big old beast.
Yeah, that's a lot of dagger.
Yes. Oh, very cool. Dave's always doing cool stuff over there.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
High five, Dave.
Good consistency on the Hamon too.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All right. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, what we need to talk about is friend of the show, Billy Cho, which is a nice rhyme now that I think about it. Billy Cho got a kind of a cool purchase. One of you guys want to talk about that?
No.
I don't even want to.
And I forgot what he got. I've been thinking about that full auto 9 milli AK he built.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
when he
big do
dumped the
want.
mag.
Yeah. That motherfucker runs like a sewing machine.
Yes.
Just beautiful.
Yeah, Billy lucked out. He was looking at the ads on Craigslist, I think, and
I think Marketplace or something.
yeah, somewhere somebody had like some knife maker tools, and he reached out, and it was like Loveless's granddaughter or something, right?
Something.
And he ended up with a really cool old school high precision drill press that's like very lust worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Straight out of the Loveless shop.
Yeah. I mean, there's actually a picture of it in the shop. And all he used it for was tapping, I think. So it should be really tight. Good to go.
Great piece of history that he got for way too cheap.
Good for you, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Bad for the rest of us.
Birch over there like, fucking Billy Joe.
But at least, I mean, honestly, this is a piece of history that would have gone away. I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of cool that it's documented now.
Yeah, it could have just went away, and just went to some
disappeared, right?
random garage. But no, I am happy for Billy. It's really cool.
You don't sound very happy, though.
Trying my best, Tom. Trying my best.
Wait till Billy Joe starts throwing that. This knife was made with the holes drilled on the Loveless drill press upchart.
Mm-hmm. It's got a little extra in it.
And Birch, you got some big stuff going on over there. Why don't you tell us, tell the kids at home what you got going on?
I got the Riot prototype in. Been playing with that for I don't know how long, however long I've had it in. It's been interesting trying to, figure out how that's going to go down, and going to try to get 3 different versions of it. It's a bolster lock, really, really well made. It's my style. I designed something up that looks like something I would make, but not something that I do make. And they did a really good job with it. It still has a Riot look to it, but it's, something of my design. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Right. So a unique design just for this project.
Uh-huh.
And did you send them a knife or did you just send them a drawing?
I used my CAD skills and he turned it into 3D. I approved that. And then he sent this prototype. Might be, a few subtle changes, but that's pretty minimum. I mean, he kind of nailed it right on, but a good 3D design, you can see about anything and everything that would be odd or off or different. So that made it pretty easy to work with.
Nice.
So I'll probably put something like Birch Design as the logo and just, have something at a very good price point to sell.
It looks really good. And
Thanks.
I can only imagine it's been a bit of a nightmare during this whole epidemic.
It's, it just had to be on hold for a bit, and the Spyderco stuff's coming along nicely. I'm supposed to get my, my personal one here. It'll probably be here early, either Monday or Tuesday, maybe.
Yeah, that's a cool little project.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And then I ordered 10 for myself. I think they'll come later in June. So, but I think when my 10 get here will be about the time when, the rest of them drop of the limited, number of those. So I'll be able to put some pictures up and let people see, how it looks and acts before the rest of them drop. Be interesting. So, and I'm just trying to find more price point type of stuff. I designed up a kind of an easier, I don't even know what to call it. It's not a mid-tech because I'll be making it and grinding it, but probably like a flat ground satin finish type of knife that I can kind of get out there to a lower custom, no frills type of price too. I've been working on that.
Don't be taking my market share there, dude.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out ways to get shit done.
No, I'm just kidding. I love the idea.
It's going to be hard for me though, because it's, to not put a sculpted backspacer or a weird pivot collar or hand rub or stuff like that. It's just I'll have to keep myself from doing that stuff. But if I do it, then it'll be a much cheaper knife, because that's the stuff that really adds on to the price of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
So with
I
the
don't know.
productions, Michael, are you going to sell those direct, or are you going to sell them through dealers, or some combination of the two?
combination of the two. Some to dealers, some, just through us. I have to set up a more robust shopping cart, I think, before we get there, but it'll be, later August, depending on, of course, how stuff goes and,
Right.
any sort of weird shit that can happen between here and then. Many a slip between a cup and a lip, man.
Indeed. So your in-house project, the second piece that you talked about, when are you thinking you're going to do something like that?
I ordered the steel. I'm trying to figure out fixturing. I got some titanium coming in, and I'll probably start on that in a couple weeks. It's drawn up. I got to make a prototype or two. I got to figure out. The only thing I might do is I might outsource the heat treat. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, that's something I can, hopefully be able to grind out, like flat grind on that thing fairly quickly. I tried to make the grind fairly straightforward for myself, to be able to get out there and it's kind of like more like a McGinnis type of thing, like he does with his Pro line, some situation like that. So,
Right.
but I have no idea what I'll call it or do. It just, I don't know. Summer of fun, man. I'm trying to think of things to do to keep me busy and keep the customers happy and keep us all kind of going and rolling.
Yeah. Big times in Birchville.
We'll see. It might be August before I finish up with these fixed blades, so who knows?
Right.
That means you're going to make a whole bunch more.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right.
I like it. I like it.
Right.
Dude, you've been cranking them out, man.
I'm trying to finish them out.
Great.
All right. So, in prep for this episode, both the last time that we tried to record it and now when we're re-recording it, we asked for some questions, question answer kind of stuff. So you guys got anything else you want to bring up, or should we switch over to Q&A type thing?
Let's do some Q&A.
Q&A. All right. So I know there were some questions in Tom's group. Tom asked for solicited questions over there. Michael asked for some in our Mark of the Maker group. So let's see. Oh, our friend Cap asked, what's the best steel for cutting viruses in half? But there's only one answer to that question, and that is...
We know that. That's D2. It's got a nice little tooth to it, so it catches them and they can't get away.
Right. Rips right through that protein layer.
Yeah. I mean, D2 is a great knife for cutting meat. The toothy edge and viruses are nothing but little meat, so yeah.
Little meat.
No. I mean, that's pretty scientific.
We focus on science at Mark of the Maker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tom, you got a question from your group that you want to ask?
Yeah, sure. So Neil Perkins asked, do you like working Zerk or Felix for noobs? And I for sure think that Zerk is not for noobs. And I kind of wonder if it's, if he's hinting that new makers seem to, I don't know, it seems like a lot of new makers, instead of using simple materials and trying to make them as clean as possible, they jump to Damascus or exotic materials just because, that's what they want to use. But I would definitely say Zerk is not a material that is for new makers or even all makers. It's something that you got to really think about before you bring it into your shop, because there's some serious risk there. And you got to have your head on about it. And even when you're doing all that, there will still be some fire. So especially if you're grinding titanium with it.
Yeah, the Zerk tie or the dark tie seems even worse than straight Zerk. It's and
the titanium lights it. Yeah.
It don't take any of that lightly.
So,
does it seem? Yeah, I think part of that was there's a lot of guys start out and they're like, here's 5 different flavors of Mokutai with the Damascus blade and Zerk and blah, blah. And that gets a bit much. But yeah, don't take it lightly. To be very careful with your Zerk.
So for people who haven't used it before, or for people that are not knife makers that listen, explain the Zerk drama.
So it can spontaneously combust. It's one of those materials where it can spontaneously combust. I've not seen that, but I've heard stories about it. But it burns, think magnesium. It burns very hot, and it once it ignites, it's all going up, period. So you want to, after you use it, you want to get that dust out of your shop. So clean up under it, and don't put it in your suction system. None of that stuff. I had my gate off once, and Ben was doing something and had some suction going, and I thought I was good, but I didn't move the little port, where it goes in, and we got some Zerk in, and a couple hours later, I was smelling something burning, and yeah, sure enough, we had a fire down in the suction pipe, which sucked.
Yeah, and it loves oxygen. Whew.
Yeah, you put it. If you're grinding it hot with the suction going, dude, it's.
Well,
But yeah, and if you grind it and you get a pile, and then you switch over to tie and don't clean it up, that first tie spark, it just up.
Yeah. Anytime you get a pile, and that's where I usually get caught, is I'll start grinding and it'll pile up on the bottom of my finger or whatever, and then I'll forget and it lights it on fire, and it's not
In
fun.
a pivot hole or wherever.
Mm-hmm. You'll even bandsaw like Zerkatai, and you'll see flames going around your bandsaw blade.
Surface grinding it is a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, put your respirator on and get
Yeah.
stay safe, because then the vanadium or whatever it is that comes out of that is just
Yeah, an exothermic reaction, right? Especially, so it's like you get it really hot with a high surface area per unit mass, and boom, it catches on fire, and very exciting very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So like a really interesting example, I think I've made a video of this before, but like I have those ray gun beads in Zerk, right? And if, depending on how well I clean them, like Tom said, they have a hole down the center. And if there's any chip, dust, or otherwise on those things, when I start to torch them to turn them black, that stuff goes off like fireworks.
Yeah.
It's like a crazy crackling
Snap, crackle, pop.
snap, crackle, pop that propels itself around the room. So the danger there is real. Got to take the right precautions for sure, and you could burn your shit down in a heartbeat. Didn't one of you guys have a Zerk fire or other problem?
I had one that got caught in my whatever and just melted a bunch of shit. I had one get on my finger, and I thought I was going to flick it away, and I just gave it oxygen when I
It just adds oxygen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they use that shit in cluster bombs, so just be careful.
Yeah. All right. So good question. Don't mess with Zerk until you have taken the right precautions and you know what you're getting into. What's another one? Blade Show we talked about a little bit. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question. I don't remember if we hit this when we tried to go before. Any favorite makers that you guys collect or own that have passed away?
Too many good ones have passed away.
Jimmy Lyle,
Al Pokawski, he's one of mine, definitely.
Kit Carson, Bogazuski.
Rob Simonich was mentioned in here. Yeah, Bogazuski.
Yeah, Simonich. I'll never get rid of my Simonich pieces.
Yeah, Semenich was a horrible Thanksgiving a few years back.
Yeah. And that's a long time ago, but it doesn't seem like a long time ago.
It's been like 8 or 10 years, right?
Who knows
Yeah.
anymore? Time is weird.
Bob Lum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know it's strange is I may have told this before, but I thought the year he passed, my table was right behind his that Blade Show, and I was super excited to meet him. But he passed before the Blade Show.
Whoa.
I was, because I'd never met him, and I was just so very excited to finally meet him. I was like, oh, my table's gonna be right behind him. But that's just too many.
So many good makers gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got another question from your group, Tom?
Yeah, Garrett Kirsch. What's your favorite Damascus pattern? And me personally, I really like Raindrop. It seems to be a simple pattern, but it goes with a lot of things that I do well. I really like it with like hammered copper or any of the hammered stuff. It just kind of seems to flow. What about you guys?
And for personal aesthetic, I like Raindrop. It was the first Damascus I saw, the first high contrast Damascus, and it was even a piece of Devin Thomas stainless Raindrop, and it was exquisite, and it's stuck with me since, and I'm a big fan. Now, for personally, when I'm working with it, I like Chad's random pattern stuff. It works really well with my aesthetic. I like the way it grinds, and that's a personal favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like a Turkish twist. Turkish twist.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah. I don't know, just the knowing how much goes into it, and then when a good bladesmith incorporates that into their design, forging it into the tip, and didn't see in some of these old historical pieces, how they did the gun barrel, stuff like that, taking that twist and then twisting it around the barrel was just amazing. I think that was the first kind of mind-blowing type of Damascus I ever saw. You just don't see it very often. Someone made a stainless steel version of it not long ago, I saw, which is kind of crazy.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like Chad's boomerang pattern. I think it's got to be on the right knife to look the best, but I really like that stuff. It's a cool shape, right? There's lots of movement, and I think it can fit with a bunch of different blade styles, which is really cool.
Agreed.
It's a good go-to Damascus pattern that really doesn't distract, or it's not too tight, not too big. Some patterns are way too big for the knives that are on, or, so you got to kind of really pick the pattern that fits the knife and the other materials you're using. I can't stand when you have verticals and horizontals and circles and mixing with, make them match.
Yeah, some kind of continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the cool things about these pattern steels, right? Is they really can enhance the look or the style, or bring out something in the overall shape when it complements the right way. Another really good one for that kind of stuff. I mean, Chad's got the tuxedo, or I think there's another version of that he calls Bacon Damascus. That is that very linear pattern, and one of my favorites of that is always Devin Thomas herringbone.
Yep.
And a great example of a very precision Damascus pattern. And I've seen it used in a bunch of different knives. I like it a lot more on some knives than others for exactly that reason, right? Because it's such a consistent pattern with such a straight line in it. It's like, man, you got to pick the right piece to put that on. But when it's on there, it's almost like it's a fine pattern, right? So it kind of tends to disappear, or it becomes more of a highlight than it is the focus, right? Which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a knife that Gus Ciccini made that has Devin Thomas herringbone blade, and it's a Wharncliffe style, but with Gus's style, right? That's got those very angular, very straight lines. It's a perfect match for that knife. It suits the knife very, very well.
Nice.
Awesome. All right. Good question. I like that one. Let's see what else we got in here.
Got one for us.
Yeah, go.
From our Mark of the Maker, James said, how do knife makers feel about their knives becoming safe queens versus users?
Oh.
Uh-huh. Me? It doesn't bother me. Some knives are made, to go out and do what you want with, but truthfully, it's people's knives. If you want to put it in a safe, get it out, look at it, enjoy the aesthetic of it, the action of it, then put it back, perfect. It's all right. If you want to go out and use it and accrue the scratches and a little bit of, patina to it or whatnot, have at it. That's your knife. Enjoy it how you want to. I don't think we should judge someone else on how they use their knife or don't use their knife. We all have different ways of enjoying them. I have some knives that I look at, some I use, and just how it goes.
Yep.
And gets in that weird kind of spa situation too, of like, if you go out and you tear it up, sometimes some of those guys that are screaming about, don't have safe queens are the first ones to be like, can you fix this scratch for me?
Right.
Well, that's why they're
Right.
fine with not having safe queens, because they think they can have a new knife in perpetuity.
Right.
Yeah.
On a side note, fuck them.
Yeah, doesn't always work that way.
Right. What about you, Tom?
I'm the same way. I mean, I've got a lot of knives that will never get used. I bought them knowing I will never use them.
Dude, I think
Totally
you got
fine
enough
with
knives. It's mathematically impossible they can all
Mhm.
ever be used.
Well, but I get them out. I handle them. They're inspirational. I mean, that to me, it's like, it's what I do. It's my passion. I'm not afraid to use them, but I can also clean them up if I mess them up. But, honestly, I think that kind of what makes some of those knives special, like for me to hand down to my kids, are the ones that I actually used that have honest patina and they have those stories,
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, perfectly mint knives that I hand down will be special, but the ones that I actually used, I think will probably have the more meaning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect.
The knife I took to Iceland when I went with Ben, and that's the only knife I had, and we did stuff and we used it, and that has memories. So I would like to think that that's better,
Yeah.
As far as using them, I love seeing people use their knives. There's a couple things that are like fingernails on chalkboard for me. One of them is when you stick a knife in the dirt. For whatever reason, if you like your edge, at least for me, I try to really protect that edge on a using knife. And when you're out working, you jab it in the dirt, that's not really gonna do anything good for the knife or the edge. So my knives that I carry and use, I get a little particular on how I lay them down, what I cut with them. I don't want to cut against something steel or like on a plate. You'll never see me cutting on a plate with my knife because it's like a ceramic sharpening stone except opposite. So yeah, those are things that kind of make me cringe. But at the end of the day, it's your knife. Do whatever you want with it. But the whole spa thing is really getting tiresome, I'll be honest. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I've got a Loxa that has a bunch of scratches and a bunch of, use on it. But I'll never send it in to be fixed or ask them to fix it. Those are, it's kind of like the watches and stuff like that. I'd rather they show the history on them than have that erased. It's part of what that knife is. So, but I have some lumps and stuff. I'm not going to use those. I get them out. I look at them.
Exactly.
If you don't like it, that's too bad. It's my knife.
See, this whole time I've been bracing myself for Tom to say, yeah, just like these Kronks that I have, especially the one with the Westinghouse handle. It's not to use. It's just a love.
Yeah. I threw my Kronk,
Yeah.
but it's a throwing knife,
But I mean, everybody has a Kronk, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty normal anymore.
Oh, this fucking guy.
Pretty passe anymore.
I'll have to find mine. It's here somewhere.
Yeah.
Both of them. I don't know. They're here somewhere.
Scratcher. Okay. All right. What else do we have? Cameron Kyle asks, have you guys ever made your own lawn or garden cutting tools like mower blades, sickles, or scythes? Great
Nope.
question.
I will go in. I have not made any of those things, but I do have the sharpest mower blades probably in the state, if not in the tri-state area.
And I'm just going to go on record again. I hate sharpening mower blades.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it don't bother me at all.
I feel like there's no one's judging it. The grinds, I can be as shitty as I want. I don't have to put a sweet little, sweeping plunge on it. I'm it's good.
Michael still spends 10 minutes on the plunge on his mower blade.
I do, but it's not as, I don't have to be as precise.
Well, it's not because I have to.
Well, they got to be
Well, you got to
balanced.
keep the blade in balance.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I used to have a lot of family members and bring blades by, and they'd be like, "Hey, can I use your grinder?" And after one got into one of my 8-inch wheels pretty bad, I was like, "No, but I'll sharpen them." And then it turned out like they just stopped by with a stack of like 12 blades because they've got multiple riders, and I was just like, "This sucks. I hate it."
If you can afford multiple riders, you can afford to have them done. Pay somebody, you know.
Well, why would you do that if you got somebody that has a knife shop? But
That's
yeah,
true.
just buy new blades. They're not that expensive.
Just buy an angle grinder.
Oh, I hate. They're a finer steel. Like they go in the air, so you get that rust grass smell in the shop. And
That doesn't bother me.
It don't bother me either.
Yeah. I did make
like
a
the hard
knife.
work.
Made a knife out of a mower blade.
My first
is
knife was from a mower blade.
air quotes, big air quotes on that knife part. It was a machete that was real shitty.
The shitty shetty.
Yeah, shitty. I mean, I even tried to take like a torch, and I didn't know any shit about. I mean, I was way too young to probably be doing any of this. But you know, to heat it up to try to take the bend out of it. It's just, yeah. I loathe to think what that thing looked like.
Yeah. Tom, you got another question out of your group you want to throw out there?
this is an easy one. I think we can all agree on this. Brian Bloom asked, how about an interview with the spouses of Mark of the Maker? And I just answered for us. I said a hard pass. That seemed like the most, the best thing to do, you know?
No, I think we can call it the
bad.
throw each other under the bus episode.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
No.
Yeah,
Be like, DeRay, what do you think of the new Chris Reeves knives he got in?
right,
Ixnay on the...
right. What do you think about that new CNC lathe Tom ordered?
He was bragging about the 2 Kronks he had.
Right.
2.
Oh, see, that might be my Kronk revenge right there.
Well, I mean, one of them was a Christmas present.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Hold on, though. Christmas present given at the shop or at the house?
At the house.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got one more question though. It's a legit question. Sorry, Brian. If I have any say in it, we're not doing the spouse thing. Just saying, it's a bad plan. But Chris Zimmerman said, "What's one material you would love to see make a comeback, whether blade steel or handle?"
Ooh,
What do you
good
think, guys?
Linen micarta. Not enough folks appreciate the linen. Everybody's about canvas or other exotics, but man, I would like to see linen make a comeback because it's a fantastic material.
I'm working with linen right now.
Well, then it's in progress.
That 3V piece is linen.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. For a while, everybody went to canvas because that's what people wanted, the texture. But honestly, the linen, now that I put it up, people are really digging it, especially green linen.
That's exactly what I'm working on.
There's something about green linen and the way the strata's revealed in it when you grind into it and just the general shade of green that they get with the dye in it. It's just very nice.
So nice.
I think there for a long time, when I started out, I had that 1,000,000 mile per hour grinder, and I stayed away from the micartas because I would just burn the shit out of them.
Burn it. Yeah.
And then I don't know, it messes with me a little bit. It messes with my sinuses. It gets to me. The micarta does. But I'm just trying to get past that. So I've been using a lot more canvas and linen and all sorts of stuff. Because I love the look of it. Just for a long time, I just kind of quit using it because G10 was just so easy to work with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What about blade materials? For me, one that we mentioned earlier, 6K, I wish it was more readily available. I can remember, the Talonite, which is basically 6K, was available, and 6K just seems hard to get.
I don't know if I was ever too excited about it. It just pissed me off. You can't bandsaw it, so I'd have to go to the milling machine and just cut out a square or whatever.
I just grind it, scribe it, drill it, grind it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I chop saw grind. I mean,
Yeah. So you're always making some sort of trapezoidal piece of crap out of it and then trying to grind it down. It's just, I don't know. And yeah, you don't have to heat treat, but still.
It's just a neat steel. It has some cool properties. I say steel in quotes just so everybody's happy. But it's definitely not something I want to use for all my blades, but it would be nice if it was more readily available.
Oh, yeah. But then it wouldn't be as desirable. People are like, woo.
Is it that it's not available, or I thought there was some kind of crazy minimum quantity kind of thing?
Yeah, if you buy it from them, it's super expensive, and they're kind of hard to deal with because it's like you can call and talk to them and ask if they have any like drops, but then you have to buy the whole thing, and then you just, usually they're kind of big and expensive, and when I've done it in the past, then you got to try to get them cut out, and the only way I've been able to find out a way to do it was in the shop anyways, was with like a angle grinder with a cutoff wheel.
Yeah.
Well, you got the angle grinder out. You might as well sharpen some lawnmower blades.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. But you could water jet it and it'd be fine.
I'd say you could water jet it or laser.
Now, man, when I first came in, Mike Franklin, who mentored me quite a bit, he was known for doing Stellite boot knives back in the day, and he would take a table saw and put a cutoff wheel in it.
Wow.
And, man, zip through it in no time flat. I mean, the first 15, 20 knives I cut out on a table saw with a chop saw wheel in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds exciting.
It is. It's very sparky.
Yeah.
We did something similar for AG. I was digging around and found a couple plates of Stellite under some stairs in the warehouse, and we made 110 or so tapered tang, brass wrap tapered tang little stag hunters. They were pretty cool.
Actually, that may be some of the same Stellite he used back in the day because he was doing those boot knives for AG.
Yeah, it could be. It was weird. I went over there and was digging. They let me go over to the show, the storage, and we were looking for some stag. And I was looking under the stairs. It's just like rough frame stairs, and there was like these pieces of metal with dust covered and pretty good size. And I blew one off, and it said 6K on it, and I was like, "There's a small fortune right here."
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Nice.
Do we want to be on record as not recommending that the kids at home try the table saw with the cutoff wheel in it?
I'd say let's not. That's adult supervision.
Oh, and a face shield.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
Yeah,
go.
one of those
Need
two.
a fucking face shield.
Dude, when
And it's
those wheels break, whew.
Highly recommended that you use someone else's fingers too.
Heavy gloves. And I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm just saying it's a way.
Yeah, right. That's cool. That's all the questions.
Which it
I've got
kills
on
the
my
table
plate.
saw. You got to replace it every year and a half or so.
I would say so.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Well, guys,
That's all the questions I've got on my page. I'm not looking at the Mark of the Maker.
Yeah, I'm looking. Sean, did you see any questions in here that you wanted to ask? There's a couple.
Man, I've been sitting here staring at them, and we've either partially covered some of them, or some of the questions, it's not a question for a Q&A session. It's a question for a fucking episode or mini-ep.
Yeah, I was going to say, Grant asked this question, tips and tricks on grinding, fitting locks, shaping materials, aesthetic rules of thumb in design, some others. We've kind of touched on a little bit of that in one of the minis, I think, but he's saying he'd like to hear an episode loaded down with maker info. That might be a good mini-sode series.
mm-hmm.
We hit a little bit on the design one a while ago, I think, but we could talk a little bit more about some of that kind of stuff at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, good questions for everybody. Thanks for taking the time to post those and send them our way and follow up with us on all these different things you want to know about. Apologies again for the long delay since our last episode. We're doing our best over here, and we'll keep trying. We got a good interview coming up. Hopefully we're going to record it pretty quick here. I think it'll be a fun one and a very interesting one for people. Another perspective from the knife industry that I think will be a good one. So look forward to getting that done soon. Oh, as always, we thank all of our friends on Patreon, the people that follow us on Instagram, the people that participate in our Facebook group, even though the show hasn't been out here in a little bit because of all kinds of different complications. We have lots of people that chat with us very regularly every day on Facebook in the group there. We appreciate our Patreon supporters. You guys have stuck with us. We really appreciate that. We're going to do our best to continue to bring you some content and give you something to stick in your ears here as we start to slowly ramp back into the world of maybe actually going to work and and some other stuff. It's kind of a weird time, right? We've got people that I think a lot of people listen during their commute or while they're working, and I guess they still listen while they're working, but for guys like me that are working from home but on the phone for 90% of that time, there's not really a lot of room to squeeze a podcast in there, so kind of weird time.
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, we appreciate everybody listening. We had a loss here in the community a little while ago, and Sean's going to say some words about that.
Recently, we lost knife maker Butch Valaton. Butch was known for his automatics. He first went full-time as a knife maker in 84 and produced his first automatic in 87 and started changing the world of autos as we know it after that. He's known for his autos, his double actions, his assisted openers, and just a high-quality knife. Rest in peace, sir.
Indeed.
Yep.
This is something that happened a little while ago. It was kind of more recent when we did our previous attempt to record this show, but definitely someone who's a very influential piece of the industry, shaped a good piece of it. I think mentored a bunch of people that we know, and and one that we wanted to make sure we mentioned, even though it's a little bit late at this point. So,
Well, and just a truly unique and innovative maker. And it's hard to be unique and innovative.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
All right. Well, that's it. We'll get this interview recorded and out to you hopefully shortly following, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Take care, folks.
To learn more about our makers, you can find Tom Crine on the web at crineknives.net, in his Facebook group Crine Knives, or in his Instagram account at Crine Knives. For Michael Birch, check birchtreeblades.com, Facebook group Birch Tree Blade Works, or Michael's Instagram at birchtreeblades. For myself and the Raygun Bead Project, we're on the web at raygundivision.com. We have a Facebook group called Raygun Division, or my personal Instagram at msteiner. For those interested in photos, references from the show, or some discussion about the show itself, you can find us on the web at markofthemaker.com, in a Facebook group called Mark of the Maker, or on our Instagram at Mark of the Maker. Last but not least, the ultra cool and haunting background music we use for the show is a piece called Noir Guitar by Stevie's Amp Shack, found at the Free Music Archive and licensed under Creative Commons CC BY 4.0. Thanks for listening.